Well,
Hey, Chantel. All right.
good seeing you. We haven't seen each other for a while.
Been a good while. It's been a good
Yes,
while. Great to see you.
but I'm a student of yours, and I am very grateful for all the knowledge that you have passed down to me over the years. And I wanted to do this chance to see where you're at with your life, what you're up to. Let people know what your background is. And then we're going to talk a little bit about cleansing, nourishing, and resetting your body system.
Okay. Well, I'm actually in Panama, the land of my birth, thanks to my grandparents that came from Barbados and Jamaica during the onset of the 20th century. They came to build the Panama Canal. And my parents were born here. I was born here in 47. So I'm now 75, and it's been a journey. It's been a journey almost around the world. So after leaving here at the age of 17, I've made some attempts to reset and come back here, several occasions. But thanks to the COVID civilization, I had to really find a place, find a safe place that I can live through the storm, and to be able to choose that place. Panama was by default. I had to finally make peace with this land, because my position has been that, we were just migrant workers. We were passing through, building another monument for the world. And we went on to the next work site,
Right.
Brooklyn, New York at the time in the 60s. That was the fertile ground, being of African descent. And, we've been migrating and journeying for thousands of years, straight from the cradle of the Congo, the heart of Africa, up through into, all those places. Really, we probably even started from the south and moving all the way through the Zimbabwe Empire, the Kemetic Empire, all of the big, monuments we've built, the Dogon people, Mali, University of Timbuktu, all up into North Africa, all up into Spain. We ruled those folks. We ruled Europe for a while. We are the Moors. We journeyed on through West Africa. We came to the Americas before Columbus. We showed those guys the way here. So it's just been that journey of thousands of years, and it's just been my turn. And I again moved to more fertile ground, New York, and so my turn there was up. I left the U.S. About 23 years ago. Moved on to Jamaica, and on and on, and been journeying the world, the planet for a good 20 years now, all over, everywhere, about 60 countries, and maybe lived in 20 of those, and
Lots of good experiences.
yeah, so ultimately I was in Jamaica, set up a restaurant for Half Moon Resort, the premier resort in the Caribbean, 70-year anniversary and all of these kind of things, set up a restaurant in their spa, the Ital Cafe. And then from there, I moved on to the Cayman Islands, the land of the Queen.
I think that is when I met you.
No, you met me in Jamaica in 20. You came to the Raw Food Culinary Masters Showcase, right?
Yes.
That's where we met.
That
was 20 years ago. That was 23 years. Yeah, not 2020, 22 years ago.
Yes.
But no, I'm talking now, a few years ago, 2018, I was in Jamaica again.
Okay.
At the Half Moon Resort, where I just set up a restaurant for them. Then from there, I moved on to the Cayman Islands, So I was in the Cayman Islands for 2 years, 20 and 2019, 2020,
Yeah,
and then came the COVID, and you know, I had enough of that. After 6 months, I felt like the place was closing in, and I was becoming incarcerated with all the restrictions. So
right,
I had to get out. Pretty much had to do a jailbreak because the Cayman Islands. Once you're on that island, you're pretty much incarcerated.
right,
You can't get off. You can't do anything. It's tax free and all of these things, but they get paid in other ways. So anyway, I got out, and by default, Panama was my option because I got the passport here, you
right,
know, and I didn't have to go through the Jamaican the immigration hoops. And I was actually on my way to Suriname to set up a holistic center there, but I couldn't get in, no flights. So
right.
I called myself laying over in Panama till the Surinamese airport opened up. And lo and behold, I just put out an announcement that I was having a month of retreats, March of 2021. And sure enough, we got booked out, oversold. And, in 30 days, we had 36 people coming down, including big celebrities like Tiffany Haddish. And so I was like, well, I don't see how I can get out of Panama. I'm on a 700-acre farm. And so we dug in the roots and did a reset January this year. So now I'm on the island, Toboga Island, the gateway to the Panama Canal. Beautiful island, one of the Pearl Islands. Only 1,500 of us live there. So it's a nice place to call home. Got the Sunfire Institute there, and we got students coming in.
That
You know,
sounds great. That sounds great, as usual, as usual. So
so
let's talk a little bit about the benefits of cleansing. You're a big proponent of cleansing. You usually do a cleanse that lasts the amount of days that for your birthday. So 75 days for 75 years old.
yeah, well, the word cleansing would be kind of misleading in my case because I'm clean,
Right.
literal. I'm clean. I am, and the reflection of my cleanliness is, I got 20/20 vision at 75. Don't wear crutches on my eyes. I got my knees. I can jump off of a one-story building and land solid on my feet, and don't crack my knees. My joints, my hip is solid, no hip replacement. Looking forward. Uh, my brain is expanding. My mind is expanding instead of shrinking. No Alzheimer, pre-Alzheimer is here. On and on. I'm in good shape. Still climbing coconut trees at 75. Yeah, and
But for all those people that you're helping that are not in the same shape as you,
well, I don't know. I just basically just put myself out there as an example.
yeah,
And if you want to be like me, you want to act like me, and your skin is like mine, and all of these things, then take some notes out of my book. I haven't eaten any animals in 53 years,
wow,
and none of their byproducts, not even honey. It's vomit. Even though it's sweet, it's still vomit, and it's a regurgitation that the bees produce food for their babies. So
right.
I'm not trying to compete with the little baby bees and trying to rob their food, because I sure won't. As a kid, as a baby, I sure did not want to see a bee landing on my mother's breast to suck my milk out,
Right,
because she sure will kill them. So I
right,
can understand they try to kill us, sting us, and do all they can. But modern human beings, they put on armors and go fight the bees and conquer them and steal their food and feed them corn syrup. They're not going to feed those bees honey. They
yeah,
feed them corn syrup anyway. We back in the same. So these kind of things. So then, for 47 years now, no animal products. No animal products whatsoever. No raw food. No cooked food whatsoever.
right,
All what you may call raw food, I call it sun-fired foods that are cooked by the sun. So, I don't wear and tear my digestive system. I don't challenge it with things that are not food. So just because I can boil a potato and make it edible, that doesn't make it food. We've been experimenting with trying to figure out how to adapt to eating potatoes for just 5,000 years. That's how long we've been eating potato, rice, beans, all these things, all those complex carbohydrates or complicated foods that we have to turn into simple carbohydrate, into sugar. I don't know, once I stop chasing down Usain Bolt, I know I can't turn my body into a refinery and make sugar from Trilani yam and stay and catch up with Usain. So I just stop eating starch, complicated food, complex carbohydrate, and lots of other things I don't eat, So, no disrespect to people who eat those foods. Everybody's food is sacred. So, but for me, I keep it live, I keep it sun-fired, and I live with a stoveless kitchen. I'm stoveless.
Yeah. So I'm sure that there are thousands of people that come to you with all kinds of problems, from diabetes to hypertension to I've had a heart attack, all kind of stories you have heard over the years.
Oh, yes.
What kind of benefits, what kind of results have you seen if they stick to the program, adapt to it, try to be like you? What have you seen over the years?
Well, it's hard to say that I've seen much because I tell people I don't manage sick care. I'm
Right,
not a healer. I'm not a herbalist. I'm
right,
not equipped to handle anybody with any kind of medical condition, any kind of disease condition, because I can't heal them. My
right,
food can't heal them. No herbs can't heal them. There's nothing external of the body that you can put into the body that's going to heal it. The
right,
human body is totally self-healing.
right,
Absolutely. We just need to stop distracting it with trying to process the last big load of food that we ate, calling it a meal.
right,
No matter how clean we think it is, most of it is still toxemia, or generates an excessive amount of toxemia or toxins, waste behind in the system. And that's what's blocking the body's healing capacity to unleash, those antibodies. The
right,
body produces all the antibiotics that we need for any condition that we have that's out of order. The body produces the antibody. Just look at one thing that they tell us. This is very important. The male reproductive system is
right.
pretty much right now on the slaughter block,
Yeah,
especially the black male,
yeah,
the African man living in Jamaica, the US, and Trinidad. The three most endangered male species on the planet that is susceptible to prostate cancer.
yeah,
The number one is the African American man, highest incident of any man on the planet. Number two, the Jamaican man. And number three, the Trini man, the black man, not the Indian descent one.
right,
All three, number one, two, and three, prostate cancer, inflamed prostate, all kinds of stuff going on. So how do they measure this? How do they detect that you have issue with your prostate? They measure your PSA.
yeah,
What does those initials stand for? PSA, protein specific antigen.
yes,
So when you have prostate issue, prostate cancer, any type of inflammation, anything like that, they measure the antigen that
yeah,
your body is producing, the antibodies that your body is producing for a specific protein. Protein specific antigen, obviously it's a negative protein. What is the negative protein that the African American man, the Trini black man, and the Jamaican black man has? There's some negative protein that we're consuming.
yes,
And, they say the one in Jamaica is the ackee. They
right,
claim ackee is the source.
right,
Ackee is a fruit protein.
yeah. That's not the
Ackee is
source at all.
full of fat.
Yeah,
But you show me the Jamaican man that eats ackee without salt fish, codfish,
yeah,
and also have it swimming in oil, in fat.
Yeah.
So
But
how did they isolate the Aki and blame it on the Aki and not the codfish?
on goat.
Yes, the codfish. And how did and also not the oil, the vegetable oil, which is usually soybean oil.
Yes.
And we know soybean really beats up on the reproductive system. The
Yeah.
body cannot break down soybean oil.
No, vegetable oils are out.
And look, the black man in the US, they don't even know what Aki is. And the ones in Trinidad, they definitely don't touch Aki if they even find it there. They scared of Aki.
Yeah.
So
They
it
think
cannot be the
it's poison.
Aki.
They think it's
It cannot, it's an animal protein. It's a negative protein.
yes.
Whether it's chicken, fish, pork, you name it. All three of them eat all three of those, chicken, fish, and pork.
Yes.
So it could be one of those three or the combination of all three of those together. So let's face it. And then also not only that, but it also could be high sexual activity, ejaculating constantly. These
Right.
are very active, sexually active men,
Right.
very extremely active. So that action, dump in their zinc, the mineral that is released from the body during ejaculation. And that's the main thing that when you have prostate issue, that your medical expert is going to recommend you take zinc,
Yes.
replenish that mineral. So anyway, so they're measuring your protein specific antigen. You could start off at 3 and you're healthy. You go to 7, you start looking at some inflammation. Then you go to 10, 20, 80, 100, 500, 1,000. Now, once you start hitting the thousands, now you are pre-cancer.
Yeah.
2,000, oh, stage 2 cancer. Your PSA goes to 3,000. Stage 3, 4,000, stage 4. You only got one more stop to go before you get to the graveyard.
Yeah.
So, look, my PSA, last reading on my PSA is 6, and I'm 75. I don't eat any animal fats, and I eat tons of ackee, tons of ackee. I eat even here in Panama. So anyway, I'm not toxic. That's the bottom line. My prostate is healthy. At 4 a.m. every morning, my cock rises, just like how the cock crows in my yard.
Right.
Mine is rising at 4 a.m. So I'm potent. You know, I don't have to take stamina punches and nothing like that. I don't have to take any Viagra. I see some men even younger than me, they have a iron rod implanted in their penis so they can ram women.
Right.
They can, you know, faking it. So anyway, so I am pretty much strong, healthy, vibrant, nothing at all. When I do my medical exam every 2 years to renew my driver's license, I get this man is an excellent L. This is my doctor.
Right.
Saying this to the driver license people here in Panama. This 75-year-old man can be on the highway and he's not a hazard to anybody else. He knows how to drive. He's not senile, you know, mentally and physically is in good health. And the only thing negative that I see on that medical report, urine, blood samples, all of those things taken, only thing negative, or that may be interpreted as negative, is I have a B12 deficiency. And I have a severe B12 deficiency. I've never taken any B12 supplements. I'm not in with the raw food circus crowd taking B12 patches on my butt. I don't need that B12 because I don't show any of the signs of the symptoms associated with a B12 deficiency. So I am proud to be B12 deficient and my nerves are strong and steady.
Right.
My brain is not shrinking. I'm not forgetful.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't show any of the major signs of the deficiency.
So the B12, they're set up the charts in such a way that you have to have a certain amount of B12 in your body system. And it's funny how most people most people are B12 deficient.
So how did they arrive at that?
Exactly.
They measure the excrement of people who eat animal flesh that consume a lot of B12 in the animal flesh. And they're seeing 95% of B12 is in their excrement.
Yeah.
Of all the B12 they consume, 95% of it comes out in their bowel movement.
Yeah.
So they're saying, okay, so we need to re-put in this much more. We need to put in what's being excreted. And of course, you're only going to get that from animal protein.
Yeah.
So being a so-called vegan that don't eat any form of any animals, there's no B12 in plant foods, except maybe the greens. If you harvest your greens before, the morning dew dries out of the green leaves, the green spinach and all of these things. So so you got to really watch the cows. The cows don't eat any B12 at all,
But
no
yes.
supplement. And they produce more B12 than probably any other living entity on this planet. What are they doing at sunrise in the morning? Even before sunrise, they're out in the pasture, eating the green grass that is full of the morning dew. And then for the rest of the morning, they're hanging out in the sun. So they're synthesizing that grass that has that morning dew on it with the solar energy, and they are producing an excessive amount of B12. So someone like me, if I'm taking green juices,
Yeah.
spinach, lettuce, parsley, all of these things blended up, and I'm hanging out in the sunshine, it appears that I'm producing the equivalent of the 5% of B12 that is retained in the intestinal system of people who are eating a lot of animal protein. So I am actually synthesizing and producing the equivalent of that 5% of B12 that does not get excreted in the waste of heavy meat eaters.
Right.
And because I'm not eating any cooked food, as opposed to vegans or vegetarians who eat cooked food, they
Right.
have negative bacteria in the intestinal tract. So their intestinal tract is not clean enough for them to be able to synthesize and produce the equivalent of that 5% of B12.
Right.
So they have a B12 deficiency and they show it. Cooked food, vegans, vegetarians, whatever they want to label themselves. I'm not a vegan, by the way.
Yes, I know.
Because veganism is about animal rights.
Yeah.
I'm about human rights. I am an animal. If I'm about veganism, I'm about protecting my life as an animal,
Right.
especially based on what we just talked about, prostate cancer.
Yeah.
I'm a Black man, grew up in the US, lived in Jamaica. I've eaten a lot of the foods that should have given me prostate issue, and I don't show it. I don't have any. So I am an endangered species. So me to look out for myself as an endangered man, I am not eating any animals. Since I know, based on the fact that practically every man that I've met on this planet that has prostate cancer, they all are meat eaters. I've not met a 100% non-meat eating human being, man on this planet that has any prostate issue.
Yeah.
Not eating any animals.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
like,
associated with animal protein and
or
over sexual activity. I've
Yeah.
really slowed down after 9 children by 9 different women. My
Right.
youngest is 23, so I've been like 23 years now, pretty much out here,
Right.
not interacting and spilling my sperm.
Right.
I never signed up for the safe sex culture
Right.
to put on a condom, or back in my neighborhood, we used to call it a scumbag.
Right.
So I don't put on a scumbag and have a woman masturbate me and call him having it safe sex, jumping up and down in her and squeezing my life, my sperm into a scumbag and flushing it down the toilet bowl. No, for me, safe sex is no sex.
Right. Of course.
Not putting on a pigskin, called a condom, on
No,
my penis and jerking off and covering it, that hole in my penis. That's a vent.
yeah.
And so who knows? Maybe it's this condom thing that has driven up the prostate cancer issue in these oversexed men now that they put on their glove.
Maybe
Let's
it's a combination of things.
combination of things, more than likely. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is that it hasn't hit me.
Yeah. So what do
Okay.
you think of the future of raw food? What do you think, how do you feel about the people coming along, the next generations that are really interested in what you're doing? They're trying to emulate you. How do you think raw food future is going to be? Is it strong?
Oh, they are some of my best friends. A young man left me here a few weeks ago, 24 years old. He was born in Kathmandu, up in Nepal, isolated, brought up in a little shell.
Right.
And this man come to study with me to get certified. And what he's telling me is like, I want to learn how to do juice. I want to juice. I want to learn all of, he took my juice clinic, got certified in juiceology with me. And he said, I just want to go back to my neighborhood. He's living in Texas. And
Yeah.
I want to go back to Kathmandu. And I just want to make juice for the people. I want to give juice away free.
That's cool.
And he's a fruitarian. So they bypass raw food. They
Right.
go straight to fruitarianism. 24 years old. And heavy juicing. The man was fasting. And you see him the time that he's here, he's active, doing his deep breathing, doing his yoga, doing his pull-ups. Every minute you see the man out there just burning it, full of energy, not mortgaging his youth and trying to eat the big food and drinking, for the whole time he was here, he was there for a month and he ate maybe only 7 days. For 21 days, the kid was just juicing and eating fruits. So this is the future of raw food. You got to go to higher heights. And the new generations, they're on the college campuses today. And they're about, even Woodstock, New York, the place don't even grow any fruits and they got a big fruit festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Festival. The place only grows apples and grapes and maybe some berries. But they got one of the biggest fruit festivals on the planet. And this is the youths. They've been doing this now for a while. And they're passing it on to other generations. So yeah, the future of raw food is bright. And the way people are getting sick, they got to come home. You got to come home. This is it. And that's why right now, the demand for what I do is sky high.
Good.
Sky high. We're getting lots of people coming, whether it's the COVID effect or whatever it is, but folks are not buying Beyond Meat. They ain't trying to go Beyond Meat. They were like, they stopped because basically these people are looking for nut meat. They want not meat. They want clean meat.
Yeah.
So to take them Beyond Meat, that's an insult.
Yeah.
You came before meat.
Yeah.
And the little meat we've been having for these generations, it has pretty much got us sick.
Yes.
We're not flesh eaters by nature. We've been on this planet for at least 1 million years, based on recorded history. Yeah. Cells, genes, DNA of remains. They call her Lucy in Africa, dated back 1 million years ago. So we must ask ourselves, when did human beings start using fire? When was the advent of fire? It's just nothing but theories. But for the most part, I don't see it dating back anywhere prior to 300,000 years ago. So for 700,000 years, how did we get here eating cooked food? Did we eat cooked food prior to the advent of fire? How did we cook it? Are we really cooked food creatures by nature? So we've been experimenting since we figured out how to jerk a chicken, roast a duck. You know, look at that. We've been experimenting, imitation fake meat eaters, because we are not capacitated to eat flesh. We cannot sneak up on our prey at night while it's asleep and grab that chicken and devour it alive with the blood dripping. We're not like the birds in the sky that can dip in the sea and grab their fish just like that. Try to catch a fish with your hands, with your mouth, like a bird. You're fake. You're fake. Because you don't slaughter it, you don't see the karmic effect of eating those chicken, those pigs, those fowls, the sheep, the goats, all of these things. You don't see the effect, but karma is real. I see the effect. You're sick. Payback is profound. You're not dying instantly like the chicken and the goats and the cows. Your death is slow and painful and full of disease, bad, negative quality of life in your prime years. Once you pass 60, you're in the prime of your life. You should not be breaking down and deteriorating. You should not be heading to a nursing home, sitting on death row. You should not have the Muhammad Ali from the greatest to the most ridiculous human being on the planet with Parkinson's disease. I love my brother Muhammad Ali, but he did not have to go out like that, being the greatest, diseased. Come on now. Some call it evolution, I call it devolution. We've been devolving, not evolving. We're sicker than ever.
Yeah, and they die for like 10 to 15 years before they actually go in the grave. They
Exactly.
die slowly.
Living dead. Living dead. They saw about life expectancy have been extended. Yeah, you're in the nursing home. You're on vegetable row, death row.
Yeah.
You're no use to your family. As a matter of fact, you burn in the family. And I see very intelligent geniuses that are going out like this. You know, how can a president of ex-president of a country, Jimmy Carter and these other guys, how can they go out so sick? These people are supposed to be very brilliant. How are you going to go out like that? I won't even ask how the queen died. What happened to her? You know?
Yes,
anyway,
they don't look at food in that way as medicine. They don't look at it in terms of, they're addicted also to cook food.
They don't look at it as weapons. The foods have been weaponized. The foods are killing us. These are weapons.
That's true.
Lethal weapons.
Yes.
Lethal. So.
But there's a big racket going on with medications and everything.
All of that. All of that. The same person that is selling you vaccine is buying up all the farmland and tell you, if you're dumb enough to take my vaccine, we don't need you in the New World Order. So they weeding you out just by you signing up to those kind of things, thinking you escaped the matrix. And then you eating certain kind of stuff. I'm not going to go too far with that because I know that's going to touch some nerves. And I don't want to touch the nerves, but we're eating a lot of foodless foods. We're eating a lot of toxins, a lot of waste, a lot of garbage. So let's be careful. Mind by plate. What's on your plate? And is it really food or is just, or is it nutrition or is just food? It's just edible because you've boiled it, cooked it to death, you've tenderized it, you've killed it, you've neutralized it. It's got no vital energy into it, so it zaps you. Your electrolytes get wiped out. You know, and one of the number one things on that list, and that's the only one I need to mention, and that's salt.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Serves no purpose.
Yeah.
Other than whipping your palate and paralyzing it.
Yeah.
Serves no purpose. You cannot appreciate food anymore.